Good evening and welcome to Journeys in Faith here on the Anne DeSantis YouTube channel. It is wonderful to be here with all of you again. This is episode 2 of season 5. I still can't believe that this is my 5th season of doing this podcast, and I'm going to be joined by a very good friend of mine. His name is Carlos Solorzano, and Carlos is a Catholic author and speaker. So, in just a moment or two, he will be joining me and it'll be great to reconnect with him since we have been doing this for quite a while. Carlos, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me again. It's always fun to see you and have a little chat.
That's right. And just to give you guys a little bit of a background now, Carlos has been a guest not only on this program, but he's done quite a few podcasts for the foundation that I represent. And a lot of you already know that I am the executive director for the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith, where we make free pastoral outreach to families in crisis, founded by the Mercedarian Religious Order. Carlos and I did a series. It was a 5-part series called Our Lady, Our Mother, and it's based on a book that he wrote. So I want to show you the book now. It's going to look backwards here probably on the video, but it's called I Am His Mother. And I would like to just read you his bio. Carlos has a BA and an MA in religious studies from the California State Long Beach University, as well as a AA, an associate's degree in music from El Camino Community College. He is also a certified through the Theology of the Body Institute in Philadelphia, PA. And as I said, he is the author of Our Lady, Our Mother. He's also a musician. Tell us a little bit more. I mean, that's just a tiny piece of who you are, right? I mean, we could
Yes,
probably spend like an hour with all the things that you've done, but tell
I
us more about you. He's also a teacher. We can't forget about that,
yes,
right?
I
That's
am
his
a full
main
teacher.
profession.
hmm
Mhm.
Well, I work at St. Augustine Catholic High School in Tucson, Arizona, and ever since I was a kid, I was just a busybody. I like to do different things, and um, it's good to be able to serve in the terms of teaching the faith in different. It's nice to be in the classroom. It's nice to do talks. It's nice to do even the videos that we do or the online conferences. Um, I actually, it's funny because the music part, it's sort of like a second, like a part-time job. It sort of helps give me chance to provide more for my family, but also it's something I enjoy doing. So while it certainly takes a little time, it's also something I enjoy doing. And everything from having to learn music, and in some cases, in the last couple of years, I've been in situations where I have to read music on stage, which hasn't happened in a while. So that's been nice because I started right away with learning to become musically literate. So to be able to exercise that part of my brain again has been nice. But it's interesting because the last year has been how do I say this? It's been a little it's given me a chance to stretch more. I have a musical colleague. I did a musical with him a couple of years ago. He's a singer and a stage actor, and he calls me out of the blue and he says, I'm directing this reading. Would you and your my wife's a singer, and he's worked with her in a play as well. And he said, would you guys like to be part of it? I said, sure. So I wasn't nervous about it, even though it was public speaking, because we had the script in our hands, and I really liked what I did because my character was a very angry younger man. And so I really wanted to know what he was thinking. So I kind of dug into the character and I really liked it. And he said, you ought to consider maybe doing this, some stage things or whatever. And I said, I don't mind, but I definitely, I have no ambitions of doing like a main role. I don't have that background. And then all of a sudden I started meeting some of the local filmmakers. A lot of it was just music, and like they want to take snippets of music I've written and use it in their films. And these are just guys, they're my neighbors. I mean, they're trained at the University of Arizona Film School, so I mean, they're the local artists like I am a musician. And ironically, one of them said, oh, by the way, besides some of your music, would you like a role? Because he's Native American, and he's a big believer in preserving their heritage. So he's using like the Navajo language in the film, and it's kind of like a Star Wars meets native culture. So um, he offered me a part where I'd play a space pirate, where I'm trying to help seize artifacts. And he goes, would you mind dying? I said, oh, you can kill me all you want. That's fine. So I haven't got my part yet, but it's just when I listen to him talk about, I'm trying to preserve the culture, promote the culture, and also, because a lot of the young people are not really interested like they used to be. And my wife's been is the principal now. It's called San Javier Mission School. I
Oh,
think,
that's right.
and so I'm seeing that on her end too, because the school reopened. It's been really exciting to see them get going again. But their school is offering the language and a lot of the cultural studies to the kids because they're kind of losing that sense of themselves. And I guess a lot of ways we have a lot of kids here in the United States who don't really know the background of our country. So it's really nice to be able to sit them down and say, look, this is our history. So I've enjoyed it because it's really taking me down a different road. Um, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm thinking I wouldn't have done this 10, 20 years ago, but I'm thinking, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I get to meet a lot of interesting people, and they start to talk to you about different parts of you, and they want to get to know you, and then they ask you, what do you do for a living? So there you are now. Instead of just being in a gig, I might be at a film mix, or I might be at a meeting with some theater people, and during those little icebreaker moments, they might ask a question about Catholicism, and I get a chance to chat with them a little bit about our faith.
Wow. I have to admit, now you and I haven't talked in a little while, and I knew that there was some new things you wanted to tell me and our
Hmm.
audience, but
Hmm.
I have to admit I wasn't thinking it was this, but I can see this for you. I do, because you're so well-rounded. I mean, you write, you do music, well, now you're gonna be an actor. So,
Well, a small part, shoot me in a small scene,
yeah. But you're
but
right, it's a way to evangelize
oh yeah,
and,
it's just why not? Just
right, why
you
not?
live, you live, and
Mhm.
it's just some of it. It's funny because I'm 52, and my wife and I we've been both trying to, because when you're a mom, you have your kids and they're small, and like you're just focused on them, and you have to raise them and guide them. And not that you're like, okay, you're a certain age, I'm gonna go back to living my life, but you have to give them that room to grow. And but then you have to look in the mirror like, okay, what am I doing? And sometimes you realize, I've just been working, sleeping, working, sleeping.
Mhm.
And what about me? And sometimes just going out for coffee, and because you get out of the house, it's like you enjoy it. And it's just that you get to do these little things because you can. And you just get to meet a lot of people. And I think for me, my hope is to just maybe I can be that person that gives them a different take of Catholicism that maybe they never met with someone else. Where, yeah, I'm willing to sit and work with you. And like I said, when I did that reading, the character was completely he was I mean his worldview was completely different than mine. But I thought, you know what, this gives me a chance to really dig into that mindset. And
I
and I
was just thinking that. Yes,
and I was
exactly.
thinking, if this was a real person, I'd be like, hey, let's have lunch. Let me hear your story. Let me hear
Mhm.
where you're coming from, and then maybe I can throw in a few ideas or suggestions, or some thoughts you haven't considered. And I love that because these are human stories. And I can imagine Christ with the 12 apostles. They certainly had to have their own worldviews and personal backgrounds that we don't know about. And so you think about those moments. Maybe it's evening, and they're sitting. They were fishermen there, so by the shore. Maybe they caught dinner, and maybe he's sitting there talking to Matthew or Andrew or whatever. And Jesus, I never really got along with my dad, and just let's talk. And we don't know, and we should never know, because that's between them and him. It's like the way we have our friends and we have our personal conversations.
It's like being guided by the Holy Spirit is
Hmm.
what I'm hearing.
Hmm.
And you're using, I mean, as we hear that adage so much in the Catholic Church, that you're using your, quote, "gifts and talents."
Hmm.
You really are.
Hmm.
May I ask now, we'll take a break in a couple minutes, but what
Sure.
about music? Is there anything happening with your music right now? I know that was something I see in the background What is that, a drum set?
It's an electronic drum set, and then
Yeah.
I'm sitting right in front of my keyboard. So, um, I'm writing music right now. I'm working on another release. It's interesting because I last summer I did a lot of reading on a lot of the mostly on Columbus and Magellan, and I've always just been fascinated by their courage. I mean, I know people have different views of them, and some of it's not based on reality. That's a whole other conversation. But their courage, like they dared to do it, and I started just getting this music in my head where I was kind of like, if I was in this scene or this scene or this scene in their life, what would it sound like? Because I was really inspired. My wife and I went to a symphony. Gustav Holst, he did that one. He wrote that symphony years ago called The Planets. And I remember reading this quote of his. He said, I will never study something unless I can compose music to it. I thought, ooh, because he wrote this symphony in, I want to say like 1912, and it sounds like a science fiction movie soundtrack.
Mm.
And it's
Wow.
like, wow, and so I'm kind of trying to do that. And I put it aside for a little bit because I have some shows coming up with some local artists. And then next month, I'm actually going to be in a musical again. I'm going to play drums for, it's called Bright Star. This time
Oh,
it's going to be through the University of Arizona. And it's very early 20th century, very Southern. The music is a lot of bluegrass. And what surprises people is the soundtrack was actually written by Steve Martin and Edie Brickell. And it
oh,
is amazing. It's if a lot of people, I remember asking someone, because I did this with another company about 2 years ago. So when I had the chance to do it again, I was completely fired up for it. And I remember asking someone, I go, how is this not really well known? And they said it actually came out the same year as Hamilton.
oh,
So that
wow.
kind of shadowed it.
Okay.
But if anyone watching this, if you ever get the chance to watch it live, Bright Star, the music itself is incredible.
I'm gonna
And
look that up.
the
And
story
is it
is
just spelled Bright
two
star?
words, two words,
Okay.
yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, and I won't give any plot away, but I did the last company, I think we did, it was 2 weeks, and it was like Thursday, Friday, two Saturday, once. So we were doing like 5 or 6 shows. I must have done like 12 or 13 shows. And there were some songs we played. Every time we played it, I had tears in my eyes because it was, the singers were incredible, but the music was so powerful. So
Hmm.
it was really a privilege to be able. I mean, I'm doing like cymbal rolls or like playing on the little train beat, whatever. But it was a privilege to be part of that.
That's a good
It
call to
was,
action for the audience.
mhm,
Look that up,
mhm.
Bright Star. You might want
Yes,
to go on YouTube and listen to the soundtrack, right?
yes. But if you get a
Mm.
chance to see the performance, it's because there's a lot of just cultural practices that people at the time, they would have reacted a certain way to something that was controversial, if you will. But then towards the end, there's a lot of reconciliation and healing. And
Mm.
so it's, again, it's another one of those human stories where you can relate to it in one way or another. It's really powerful stuff.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for the update. We have a lot more to
Mhm.
talk about.
Yes.
And we even want to announce, which this will be the first time I'm announcing it, but a special event that's going to be happening in January that
Yes.
Carlos will be involved with, me and some other people too. So stay tuned. We have a couple commercials. Be right back. Hello, this is Anne DeSantis. I'm an author and speaker with the Catholic Speakers Organization. To learn about my work and ministry or to book an event, visit the speaking events page at annedesantis.com. Thank you. The St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation for Freedom, Family, and Faith was founded in 2015 by the Mercedarian Religious Order with a mission to make pastoral outreach to families in crisis. The friars came together after attending the World Meeting of Families in Philadelphia with hopes of creating a foundation which could help those families and individuals who have faced tough times and need to know that the Church cares and is there to help. Since that time when we were founded, The foundation has helped hundreds of families by offering prayer, priestly consultations, podcasts and videos, and programs and events. Whether it is something to do with divorce or separation, trauma, job loss, loss of a loved one, relationship issues, or other crisis, the foundation has seen lives transformed through the services we provide. Pope Francis has referred to our world as a field hospital, where there are a great deal of individuals and families who feel abandoned and they need the special outreach of those who truly care and wish to show the face of God to others. As a foundation, that is what we do every day, and we're grateful to people like you who help to make a difference for families in crisis. Please pray for us and for our mission. Would you consider a one-time or recurring gift? Please go to nonatus.org to donate. Thank you sincerely from all of us at the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation for freedom, family, and faith. Thank you so much for your attention during those commercials. Back with Carlos. And I won't make you all wait. I'll just tell you what that event is. So, in January of 2025, namely January 21st through 23rd, we will be doing something called a Life Summit. And we will have around 20 Catholic authors and speakers that will be doing talks. Now, this will be with my good friend and Carlos's friend too, Bill Snyder with Patchwork Heart Ministry, and it'll be on the Patchwork Heart Ministry YouTube channel. So you'll be able to watch that. When I say Life Summit, I mean all of those aspects related to what we would say promoting the culture of life. And we all know that there's a lot of aspects there, aren't there? And
Yes.
so our speakers will be talking about a lot of different facets of life. And so please join us. Now, this is an endeavor of the St. Raymond Nonatus Foundation. Be sure to connect with me and with us at nonatus.org. Now, we'll get back to Carlos. He's going to be one of those speakers, though. I have to mention that.
Yes.
Let's just take a couple minutes and talk about your book. I know we do this on every show, but
Yes.
it is important for people to know I Am His Mother, available on Amazon.
Yes.
Just tell us a little bit about the book.
Again, it's a fictitious Marian memoir, written in a way where it's supposed to imitate, like, if they found a first century document. So the premise behind it is, again, fictitious, because I know there's some people that are very, they're very, and I get it. Um, where, let's say, if Matthew and Luke were bringing her early drafts of their infancy narratives and they wanted her to see it, and so she's going to revisit those moments, and then let's just say she revisited those moments and it kind of had her revisit other moments of Jesus's life, so like a mother's reflection. And it was a blessing, again, because I'm a male, and I'm a dad, and I very much love my kids, but I'm not a mother, so I don't understand that connection. But it's just something that came upon my heart, and I went with it. And I think the two biggest nods, I guess, would be, one, my mother approved of it, so that was important to me. And I've had a couple of women. It happened a lot at an Arizona Marian conference up in Scottsdale when I was selling them there, where it would, you're there for a few days, so some of them would buy it the first day, they'd be up in their room reading it, and then they would come see me the next day, like, "How did you do this? You're not a mom." I go, "Thank you. I don't know. I all I could say is I was listening to Marian songs while I was writing, so I was letting that kind of pour into me, and I guess whatever feminine is in me, because we all have our masculine
Yeah.
and feminine sides. I was not afraid to let that out. But the news with that is it's been independently released, and technically still is for now. But through a strange set of circumstances, and this is a good strange set of circumstances, I have reconnected with my previous publisher, and
Mm.
so it's called Crimson Cloak, which is interesting because it's not
Was
a
this
cap.
the news you wanted to share?
Yes,
Oh, good. Okay.
her and I reconnected because we were still in touch. We were still friends. And I had to contact her about something in the literary business. I wanted to get her take on it, and somehow it led to a conversation, and I ended up re-signing with the company. Because what happened was they were hit. They're a very small publishing company, and they were hit really hard with from COVID. They just it was financially hitting everybody. So they had given us the option to release ourselves if we wanted to kind of look, because they just weren't, they didn't have the money to promote, and they were way behind on being able to put out new books because they didn't have the money. So I did walk. Just I wasn't upset. I just, okay, yeah, I'll do this and see what I can do on my own. And we ended up reconnecting. And so she said, well, I'd love to re-release that. And she also, there's some other books that I've written that have a faith-based theme, and so that's going to also be re-released. But she was also telling me that she's gotten a hold of some new technology. So I have a little mixed feeling about this, but she's been having this AI system they have make covers, and she said the book covers are amazing. So when they re-release I Am His Mother, it's actually going to have a new cover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so she's shown me a few of the things it's come up with, and I'm like, we have to at least give it a try. I'm open to that. So I guess they kind of feed a little bit of what's going on in the story, and then the AI just it just
Awesome. No, I love to see
I'm
it. I
excited
mean,
about that.
you
Yeah.
can see now, I don't know how well you all can see this, but take a look at the beautiful cover.
Yeah. My
I have to
brother-in-law
say
did
this
that, by the way.
is one of
Yeah,
my
he's
most favorite book covers. And then the back, here's what the back looks like, where it has the description.
mhm.
And I
So
don't know if when you get it republished, it'll be the same, but one of the things I love the most about this book is the size of the print. You can't see that too well probably
Yeah,
here, but, it really it's easy to read that way
yeah,
because I as you can see, I wear glasses, you know?
yeah. Well, the one thing for sure is the publisher, she said she's not gonna touch the text. She goes,
Oh,
"I love
good.
the way it was
Okay.
written." The other stuff I did, there's a certain format you have to follow. It's publishing. So I said, that's fine. We can do that. Because they're doing a lot of the work to put it out. So I have to be considerate of that. But I'm slowly starting to work on some other stories as well. And some of them are not necessarily faith-based, but they have again a human element. And I have a theology background. I'm always gonna sneak something in there one way
Yeah.
or another. So it's just who I am, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, so that's fine. But
Right.
I was really kind of not doing it for a while, and I was concentrating a lot on music, and so in the last couple of several months, really, I was starting to feel that urge again. So I get up really early, so there's some mornings I'm just kind of noodling away and slowly getting back into it. So and it's been fun to do that. I make my coffee and I just get to work on it. So it's been good. And what's interesting is that there's a series I had done. It's sort of a supernatural action series that it involves angels and demons and stuff. And I based it on actual angelic folklore. So it's I love to be as accurate as possible. And I was back and forth for a while about whether it was going to be a two-part thing, and I had some ideas for a third one, and I could not make up my mind. So then when I ended up reconnecting with my old publisher, she goes, "I want you to do the third one." I said, "Okay, I'll do it then." So
Mm.
so it's like, "Okay,
Wow.
I can't make up my mind, so you decide." She goes, "Well,
I
you're doing
think you're
it."
busier now than you've ever been, but in a good way because you're
Yes.
doing things that make you feel good and give you
And
some life inside of you.
yeah, and I've kind of the music, anything artistic is tough. It's very unpredictable, and it's just you have different personalities. So I'm kind of little by little dialing that back a little bit, and I want to do more stuff that where I can, I guess, be more at home, if you will, like maybe writing music, because I've been trying to connect with people where I could spend more time just in here working on music and using it for other certain projects compared to just. I mean, I'm getting a little older, so lugging your stuff out there, it's hard. So in
Yeah.
that case, I'm gonna be a little more particular about it, and I do want to um, do more stuff at home, writing, working on stuff. Obviously I'm with you, I'm with Catholic Speakers Organization, so I'm trying to push more. In other words, while I'm way over here with the music, I'm trying to move it more here. And
Yes.
uh
In fact, I
and
know
then,
we were talking about this before the show because I'm a
mhm,
speaker and we were thinking just putting it out there, right? That maybe we could try to do
Yeah.
some talks together,
Yeah, and I've
would be
been to
great.
Philly a million times, so I'd love to go back. So
Awesome.
I haven't been out there. I can't believe I'm saying this. I have not been out there in 7 years because I was
Mhm.
going for a while, usually about once a year for the theology of the body classes. I think there might have been 1 year I didn't go, but then there were some years I was blessed to go twice in 1 year. So there was a time I was always landing in that airport and staying at the hotel and take the train into town, go visit the Rocky statue and just
Uh-huh.
give me a
Oh, wow.
cheesesteak. And I miss Philadelphia. I really do.
Come
I
back
do.
and visit,
I'd
and
love
we'll
to
have
just
to
go.
think about those talks as we said. So keep an
Yeah.
eye. Maybe we'll make an announcement here on Journeys in Faith when
Hmm.
something happens, because Carlos is kind of one of those like reoccurring guests, not only on this show, but also with the foundation at nonatus.org too.
Hmm.
The channel is actually Philly Nonatus YouTube channel.
Hmm.
So if you want to watch the series that I told you all about, you need to go to Philly Nonatus and then just go to the playlist there, Our Lady, Our Mother with Carlos Solorzano. So
That was a great experience, and I got
yeah,
to meet a lot of. We had our little Zoom calls, and we
we
had
did
people from all
episode
over the
6.
world. Yeah,
Right. We had
yeah, it was
people
great.
from tuning in from all over, so and
Yeah,
joining
and
us on the call.
so that was always great to meet them, and some of them, like, they on their little message, "Here's my phone number, give me," it was
Right.
nice to connect with them, it was amazing, um, and I've had this urge to, go back to the institute actually in Philly, 'cause, sometimes they'll let you be part of the prayer group, and as long as you get out there, they'll give you, so you can kinda help with it, and 'cause that was a life-changing experience for me to go out there and
Mm.
study with Christopher West and, Bill Donahue and a lot of the other teachers there, and just I met so many people from what was probably my besides the courses, I would do the morning rosary with people that were there, and oh my goodness, I was praying with people from Mexico, Australia, India, and they
Mm.
all know the rosary,
I
and of
think you
course
have to come back.
yeah, because it's a very that's when it's like Catholic, Roman Catholic, and we're doing a Roman Catholic prayer, but then lowercase c Universal Catholic because they're from all over the world, but they're practicing the same faith in their parishes and their lives, and we're all sitting there in the same room saying the same prayer, and we all know it.
Mm.
It was just like,
Beauty of being Catholic, isn't it?
oh, it was
Wow.
it was just one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had as a Catholic, just being in
Mm.
that place, and you're just up in we were up in this Amish retreat center, so even when you have a break, you're just kind of processing what you learned that day, and I miss those
Life
moments.
changing.
Hmm.
Keep us posted. You know what? We're gonna have to schedule a part 2, maybe part 3
Okay.
during this season. So keep an eye. Carlos is a great friend of mine and of, my also my co-host for the other podcast I do, Sowing Hope with Bill Snyder. I'm good friends with Bill too.
Hmm.
And we all have to connect again and maybe do another podcast for Sowing Hope as well.
Sure, I'd love to.
But any final words before we end? Unfortunately, we're coming to the end of the
Yeah.
program.
Just we were talking a little before we started recording. I had said to you that I've had on my mind for the last few weeks. Our pastor had given a homily about just evangelizing. He's like, I don't care if you're a teacher, catechist, computer programmer, postal worker, just evangelize. Like, just first, just live that life, be that person that we're supposed to be, that we're called to be. And when people see that light, let them, they're going to want to know where it comes from. And it's been really impactful. I just had back parent conferences with my students yesterday, and it was good. It was a really good. I always enjoy that. I get to meet the parents, and every now and then a parent will kind of tell you what's going on in the family, which is kind of hard because sometimes it's very heartbreaking. But their child is walks into school every day with a smile on their face, and you realize that you're contributing to a place, an experience for them where they're safe and they feel valued. So we can do that wherever we are. We can do that with whatever we do. Um, we can just make people feel the way we're supposed to make them feel as Catholics. So
Mm.
I'm really grateful that my pastor gave us that, a reminding homily, I guess you could say, the way he delivered it, it really stuck with me, and that's something I've been sharing with people when I talk to them. I'm like, yeah, I just really enjoyed that, and the way he said it, it was a great reminder. And so I'm just sharing that with everyone, just a little what it's done for me and what obviously we want to do for others.
No, I love that too, and I wanna keep that with me, and I hope that that advice also helps our audience. Just remember, whatever you
Mhm.
do, whether you're home, your neighborhood, church, you can make a difference. We can all make a
Mhm.
difference. So, I just wanna thank you so much, Carlos, as always, for being a
Thank you.
guest on the show. So, we will see
Okay.
all of you now. We're the 1st and 3rd Friday of every month on the Anne DeSantis YouTube channel. I also put it on the Journeys in Faith Facebook page, this video too. So you might be watching it there. But please let your friends know, like, subscribe. I do appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next episode. God bless. See you then.